Welcome to Cosmic Conscious Vibration, unlocking your inner universe with me, Reverend Dr. Kimmie and Dr. Pat. Are you on a personal journey of spiritual self-discovery? We provide practical ways to connect with your higher self to live a more meaningful life while deepening your connection to source consciousness. Learn the benefits of living a more mindful existence to reclaim your personal power. Join us as we explore insights to a deeper understanding of the nature of consciousness. Learn to listen better to your intuition and your heart's desires, putting you on a path of manifesting the life you are meant to live. The Cosmic Conscious Vibration Show is your catalyst for a consciousness revolution based on universal love and oneness. It all starts now. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cosmic Conscious Vibration. I'm Reverend Dr. Kimmie, and today we're going to be diving into something that's directly impacts your energy, your experiences, and even your future, the power of words. Whether you realize it or not, the words we speak, the words we hear, and even the words we think are shaping our reality every single day. Words have vibration. They have power. And if we're not intentional about the language we use, we might just unknowingly be reinforcing patterns that keep us stuck. So today we're going to be exploring how words carry frequency, how they affect your energy field, and most importantly, how you can start speaking life into your reality instead of limiting yourself with unconscious language. And of course, joining me in this conversation is the amazing Dr. Pat. Dr. Pat, I know you love this
excited.
topic.
I love this topic because it's multidimensional. And even though we're going to be talking about words, I want to really drive a point home that you have done on many of the shows we've done. And that is underneath the word is an energy. It's a frequency. It's a vibration. And if you're not checking your tude at the door, that's short for attitude, at the door, and what I mean by at the door, whatever door that is, the door to your home, your work, however you show up, if you're not checking yourself within and saying, I am really ticked off now, and I am expressing ticked off now, when I should really be open to learning how to get something done. If that energy comes forward, you really are going to have to fake it till you make it with the words, right?
Yes, words are not just sounds that we utter into the oblivion, right? Those are energy patterns. Every word is an energy pattern. So when you're speaking, you are literally sending out that frequency, like you said. If you're in a negative space and you're saying negative things, even if you're not even saying negative things and you're thinking the negative things, you're sending that frequency out there. And it's going to be, then you wonder why everything's coming back at you tenfold. Well, because you're thinking it, even subconsciously.
Yeah. I had some great mentors along the way, and you've heard me talk about, as a matter of fact, you remind me a little bit about my mentor, Mary Louise Smith. And, I remember she was the toughest woman I ever worked for, but you got away with nothing. And back in the day, is that like weird when I just said that?
I don't know. I'm old.
Okay. But it's even not that long ago when
Right.
we were allowed to have heart-to-heart conversation with our staff and our team.
Right.
And that was when people like me, who are really severely rough around the edges, could learn to grow. Now, what part is us? Let's talk about, if you're waiting for Reverend Dr. Kimmie to come along and take out whatever magic wand she might have, or sprinkle some stuff all over you and make you show up like you are like Pollyanna Patty, that is not going to happen. We have to take this on. And, we're now tiptoeing around so much. I was in a situation the other day and I was working with somebody and I almost out of my mouth came, dude, why are you so angry? We're just trying to help you here. But I didn't do that because I don't know that would have helped. Right. But that thought that I carried, and I had to shift it. And I had to say, how can we support this person? You see, I'm not saying this is easy, but I want your coaching perspective on this. Let's go.
Well, one of the biggest things when I do work with people and clients and whatnot, and even on the podcast, is about shifting language. And even I had to do this work. I wouldn't be doing this work if
No
I didn't have to
kidding.
go through it myself, right? I had a temper growing up.
No.
No, you right. So the fieriness that you have, there's nothing wrong with that, but you don't want to, how they say it, catch the ball. You want to not react to everything. And sometimes when you react to things, you're unconsciously, even if you're not, saying it full heartedly, you're still thinking in that mode. So you have to kind of switch gears. You know what I mean? You have to be able to reel that in, and while still being authentically you, understand that not everything needs to be said and not everything needs to be thought. And when you do think those thoughts, you need to be able to change that perspective in your brain.
Yeah.
Like if it's something you can't do, you want to know you can do it, stuff like that.
We're in an environment here. Let's talk about this, because from a coaching perspective, this is not the kind of thing that would come up. However, I do want to talk about it because part of what you're bringing to the conversation today is speak it into existence, how your words shape your energy and reality. And I want to say to people, your energy can also shape your words and reality. And that's part of what this is. So what you're talking about is, in given the work that you do, you have to take the whole person. Look, we live in a world right now where people are walking on eggshells, especially in the work environment. And, that's not the way that I was groomed. And I had a lot to learn. But I was so blessed to have people that would sit me down. And, if you get in front of a Mary Louise Smith more than one time and she's saying to you, honey, I want to just tell you the attitude you got on right now, that face, that push, this way she talk, that attitude, that push you got on right now, you need to go out of the room, come back in, and either jump into a happy body or pretend. And what was she saying to me, though? She was saying, we work with clients. You're going to be in front of people. It doesn't matter what the words are that are coming out of your mouth. If you got that face on, you're going to stop traffic, Pat.
And there's something to be said about fake it till you make it. I know it sounds a little cliche.
No, it's good.
But it kind of, when you think about that and just mindfulness in general, or energy, all of it, we always want you to embody the vibration of the item you want or of the outcome you want. That's part of manifestation. So that's kind of like faking it till you make it in a way, because you are changing how your perspective on something in order to get to that something, whatever it could be, right? So you're basically, if you feel like you're not good enough, you have to keep telling yourself that you are good enough. If nothing else is working out for you, you need to start saying that everything is working out. So you can bring that vibration to you. You have to be it to attract it. And that sometimes takes a little mental gymnastics,
Let's talk about this, because there are words that come out of our mouths that some of us have had some help along the way. We were never allowed to say, I can't.
Right.
I say never allowed. It wasn't quite that bad, but we were coached and guided by Mama Doris, which my stepmom. And, when a woman that has her first child at 12 and her second child at 13 is optimistic as all get out, you put things in perspective when she said, honey, you need to put on a smile every once in a while, right? But there's an energy in that. There was a willingness. She was the queen of perseverance. What do you say when people are, I can't do this anymore, Reverend Dr. Kimmie. I'm never going to be able to make that team. Nothing ever works out for me ever in my life. Now that's like, how do we approach this? Because at some level, those are true feelings for people.
They're true feelings, but they're also based on past experiences. You're allowing your past to write your future. And the present moment should write your future, not your past. And in the grand scheme of things, time is linear. So to be fair, it happened and you should, and I know it's hard to say get over it. I don't mean like that, because there is work involved, especially when something happens over and over again and you're not at the point where you are able to identify that that's a vibration you're sending out and you're getting it back. So while you're telling yourself these things, it's really about what's a mindset that you haven't been able to change yet. And that energy is keeping you locked in these lower vibrations, and it makes you so your energy is resonating lower to everyone that you're around. So you're going to keep getting it back. So until you can focus and listen to yourself and understand that those past things that happened does not affect right now. Think of it this way. If you've been through hell and high water in your past and you're still here, you won the game. You won the game. You are here, right? So don't worry about it.
Yeah. But part of this is learning some tools. Let's talk about one of the things you do that I love, catch and correct. Catch and correct. That is such a great term. That doesn't mean, oh, I got to do it perfectly. And I'm telling you, I've had some mentors that they reminded us, and me especially, of this, because I was a little bit unruly growing up. I'm a little bit different. I was always a little bit learning different. And so there's some things, I was just talking to Linda about this morning, but let's talk about that. If I open my mouth and I say, Reverend Dr. Kimmie, I'm broke.
No, you're not.
Right? You see what I'm saying? I used to have somebody I worked with, and every day he would say to me, every time we'd go to collect money for the coffee, like what? Like $1. He'd say, you know what? I'm just too poor to pay attention. And I'm like,
I've heard that.
I'm like, hey, what? You know what? But let's talk about how we go through these steps to get more awareness and course correct. Because even if you say that, right? If I say, I am so broke or I am so poor, I can't even pay attention, then I got to be following up. You know what? I'm going to tell you right now, dear God, Lord, universe, whatever you are, you know what? I will lend and not borrow. I'm making a correction. Tell us the importance of that. And if we don't get it right, we at least need to be a little bit more mindful, right?
Exactly. And the thing is, like what we were just doing there when you said, I'm so broke, I said, no, you're not. You have to, it's like, nope, you have to be able to catch what you say. And it's not like, and we all do it. I've said it myself and go, wait, no, back up a minute, honey. That ain't it. I'll tell myself that. And I'm like, what are you doing? I'm talking to myself. But it's so true that you need to think about it, because think about this. When you're worried about money and you're worried about this and you're worried about that, you're in a state of lack, things you don't have, right? That is the frequency that is low. It's a very low frequency. So when you start to say something and you're in this process of, self-correction, you just correct it in the moment. Just keep on correcting it in the moment, because your subconscious is always listening. Okay. So you're correcting yourself and you think, oh, I'm just saying it. No, you're correcting it up here. Every time you start correcting or making different changes in your mindset, you're creating new neural pathways, so you don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah. And you know what I love about this is I have a cheat sheet. I have many cheat sheets. Okay, you're not going to be able to read it, but that's one of my cheat sheets. So, but what does it little cheat sheet say? Thank you, Pastor Osteen. This is just one little cheat. I got many things. I got the Buddhist people over there. I got everything going on. But this is like, you just read this. I am blessed. I am well able. I am successful. I am victorious. You just read it. Now, why? Because you have to practice, especially if you grow up in an environment where you were never reminded how great you are.
Right.
I just talked about this on a previous show today in the way my dad treated my stepsister Joyce. And I mean, imagine being this beautiful, beautiful young woman, gorgeous green eyes, grew up in the South, real, just gentle, just beautiful, curly blonde hair, the whole thing. And to grow up and always hear how you're never enough. Your hair's too curly today. Why don't you put on a little makeup? And finally, we had to, I don't even want to say what we did to my dad about that, but you can still overcome it. Let's talk about the overcoming and what we need to do here. Start our day and help me close my day. I got on my knees last night before I went to bed because I hadn't done it in a while. And I grew up in a certain level of prayer. Now, I can't get in a yoga position because my new knees just don't quite bend like that. But why did I get on my knees? What was I remembering? What was I remembering?
You
I
were
wasn't
remembering,
sad,
yeah.
but I just found out I had lost a friend to cancer, who I never thought was, I thought she was beating it. But sometimes you have to stop and you have to breathe. So take us through what we can do as our day moves on, how we can shift, especially before we go to bed. I mean, come on, don't go to bed angry, people, right?
Well, for one, before you go to bed, you should always do a little, I guess, day reflection. Reflection is one of those things that's important in so many ways. Reflect on your words from the day. You don't have to remember every little word you said, but you know what I'm talking about. Those things will stick out. If you say something to somebody negative, you will remember because you're going to be thinking about it and going over it, right?
Yeah.
So the same thing is true with that reflection.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And look, this topic is for everyone out there. We're coming into this year. We've hit the month of February. And while we'd like to all be kumbaya and be in the love boat moment, day goes on, life goes on. Things are happening in your world. I think what Reverend Dr. Kimmie is telling you and telling us is that was then, this is now. I'm in the moment. I can make a correction. I can reflect on the end of my day. Tell us how that impacts what we manifest, because the deal is, who doesn't want to manifest more joy? Who doesn't want to manifest, like abundance? Who doesn't want perfect health? You want to do that. But if you're not knowing what to do, it's not going to happen.
No. So after you do your reflections, you're going to be actually trying to set the intention for the next day, even before you go to bed, right? Do your words align with your highest self today? Did they? Where did I speak from love? What can I do to make that better tomorrow? So basically, also speak, release, and gratitude is kind of like a key thing. So gratitude is key to everything. So instead of being in this feelings of lack, you want to focus on what you do have, right? So you do your reflection, then you start focusing on gratitude. So you have gratitude. After you go through your reflection, you go, what did I have? What stood out that I'm thankful for today? It could be your friend that lets you vent to them even, about how you had a bad day even. That's something to be grateful for. Someone to just be like, girl, right? Then you want to affirm your highest energy before sleeping. So instead of ending the day with stress or worry, affirm something powerful. Like, as I sleep, my energy is aligning with love, peace, and abundance. So you want to set the intention when you go to bed and when you wake up. And that way you've already won half the battle, because you're starting to change your mindset and starting to be conscious creators with your words, not unconscious creators with your words.
I love this because I know several of my blind spots. I know several of my weak spots. And one of them is, you're never going to find this for me when I'm playing my sport. Like I went last night, play a sport. I can't understand half of what anybody was saying because I don't speak Chinese or Korean, right? But we have a language when we play. So the only word we hear coming out of somebody's mouth at the beginning of the game is play. That's what you hear. But how we play and the joy, you see, this is what happens even when you're given orders or edicts. But here's the thing. I know a couple of my things. So I have 3 things I do. This is me. I am motivated, I am focused, and I am disciplined. That's my little trilogy for I know my weak spots are. Now, why do we do that? Because our mind, our ego, wants to fight with the spiritual nature of who we are, and it thinks it's going to win, and it will not win unless we don't do what we're talking about. So let's talk
Exactly.
about highest energy before we sleep. But I'm telling you, people like you and people like me were empaths.
Mm-hmm.
I was on a call this morning and I felt like saying, did you like wake up angry, or it's just like talking to me, you're angry? But I
That
didn't.
reminds me of that Cat Williams thing. Are you angry at
Yeah.
breakfast?
And don't you love that question when you
Yeah,
know you're angry and somebody walks
right.
up to you? You really seem angry today? Really? Okay, you haven't seen anything yet. But see, we can shift this. So
Right.
let's talk about highest energy. Highest energy. How do we affirm it?
Well, of course, you don't want to tell someone, like we were saying, like,
Oh,
are
no.
you angry at breakfast? But that empathic energy is really, if you think about it, wanting to check in on the person, right? You're wanting to see if they're okay. It just won't come out like, what's going on? So it's nothing wrong with checking in on someone, but it's a matter of how you're doing it. Stay in the higher frequencies, not on the lower frequencies, because words are not just words. They're energy in motion. So you don't want to put anything in motion. Like if you are saying they're angry, it's kind of like telling a woman, don't worry about it. We're going to be like, what do you mean don't worry? So it's that same thing, right? There's going to be a feedback loop. Because you tell someone, why do you look angry? I'm not angry. What are you talking about? Starts a whole other ball of wax. So you don't even want to come at it from that angle. You want to come at it from love. If you come at everything from a place of love, you're golden.
It's interesting. I'm watching sort of the commentary that happens with women that are in the celebrity status or in the visibility. Let's just call them
Mm-hmm.
visibility. And there
Mm-hmm.
were three comments made about three superstar women over the past week that really, I looked at Linda. We were talking about it. Taylor Swift, Beyonce, and Rihanna. And
What
when
they
you
say
take,
about Rihanna?
yeah, like, you ready for it? Oh, we could do a whole show on this. Like, when Rihanna going to have joking about her at the Grammys? Is Rihanna? No, Rihanna's like a billionaire now. If she wants to do a song, she'll do a song. If she don't want to do a song, she don't do a song.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I had somebody call me and say, "What do you think about what's going on?" And I'm like, "What? I don't even know what you mean." Well, what do you think about all the? And I said, "Look, these ladies." That is going to rub on them and it is going to slide off of them like it is some slippery sliding Teflon, because they are going to be laughing all the way to the bank, those three women. But yet it impacts people. So we have to protect our peace,
Oh,
especially
yes.
before we sleep, right?
Yes. And that's another thing. Protecting your peace, period, is a given. And like you were saying in that example, people who are at a certain level, they don't know who you are. You're just angry at the air, basically. They don't know it doesn't even affect them. It's not in their reality, because their reality is of a totally different nature. So protecting your peace, the same goes with that. They're protecting their peace by not knowing, right? But if people are doing all this side talk around you, you don't have to pay attention.
No, you don't. But we are so
Mm-mm.
plugged in. And this is part of what I wanted to bring full circle to really wrap the show up. We are bombarded now with more things. As a matter of fact, I have a cell phone from hell, to be honest with you. I cannot get the pop ups from sub. And people are like, well, what did you click on? I'm like, nothing. So I'm going to have to hire somebody to come in and look at what the heck's going on here, because that's TMI for me. I don't
Mm-hmm.
really need to know every single thing going on. So, what do you
Mm-hmm.
say to people today so that when we're looking at the day coming, the day going, what can we say to people so we really do understand how to speak it into existence? Because whatever comes out of here, that's going to manifest.
Well, at the end of the day, you have to speak to yourself with kindness, of course, and you need to come from a place of love, inner love, self love. You need to not worry about anybody. Your inner world, you are the main character in your reality. So protecting your peace can be as simple as just closing your eyes and going, not my business. you know, and when you say whatever you say out loud or in your mind or in your heart shapes your reality every single second. So your words are either lifting you up or pulling you back down. And that goes for everything out in the world too. It's either lifting you up or pulling you back down. And if you are wanting to protect your peace, you don't want things to pull you back into these lower vibrations. You want to stay in this elevated state where you're changing your mindset, doing the work, all of the things, so that you are creating your perfect vision of yourself, your own reality, what you see, your heart's desire, and not reinforcing old stereotypes and old belief systems that are keeping you locked down.
Thank you so much for today. Can you please tell people how they work with you, how they get a hold of you, and how they can keep track with this show and your other show?
Oh, yes. You can easily go to my website, which is RevDrKimmie, which is simply Reverend Dr. Kimmie. My podcasts are there if you want to catch a good stream or go through the archives. I'm also on TikTok while we still have it, and also LinkedIn as well. So you can find me all these places, and you can book a session for free and see if we connect. You never know what you need. So I'm there.
And thank you for reminding us that it doesn't matter what we say or what we think or what's in our hearts, it will shape our future. Thank you so much for that. Reverend Dr. Kimmie, everybody. I am Dr. Pat. Remember, this is the one thing you can manage. This is the thing you can control. This is the thing you can course correct. You're in charge. Well, you're not quite the pilot, but you are the co-pilot. So I think if we all do this together, we'll create that ripple effect, don't you think?
Yes, we will. And
See
it's
you
already
all.
working.
I know. Thank you all for tuning us in, turning us on. We'll see y'all next time.
Thank you for listening to Cosmic Conscious Vibration, Unlocking Your Inner Universe. I'm Dr. Kimmie, and along with Dr. Pat, we have been discussing the nature of consciousness for ways to deepen your connection to Source. Join us on the second Tuesday of each month at 11 a.m. Pacific Time on Transformation Talk Radio, as we provide the information to assist you on your personal spiritual journey. You play an important role in the interconnectedness of all things. For more information on the benefits of living a more mindful existence, please visit www.revdrkimmie.com. That's ReverendDrKimmie.com.